Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about the importance of setting goals and what a big role that plays, what a significant role that plays in your achieving your dreams. And most people don't ever achieve what they want in life. And it's not because they're not capable, it's not because they lack opportunity. It's not because of specific events or circumstances that came about in their life. Most often it's because these people, they never defined what it is they want in their life, right? They never took the time to set goals and pursue dreams. And in fact, that's hard for me to even fathom. In fact, I promise you, if I lined up 100 successful entrepreneurs, every one of them would talk about goals that they had as children and how they continued those goals through adults. The day that you stop dreaming is the day that you stop living. So don't ever think that you're going to get away from setting goals. You're going to do it your entire life, I promise you. Every one of the entrepreneurs that I would stop, every one of them, every successful entrepreneur that I talk to, as a matter of fact, they've got this inherent quality, discipline and tenacity, this no quit type attitude. That quitting's never on the table for them. They just have this laser-like focus. And you guys know how I feel about quitters. I talk about quitters probably 4 or 5 times in some of the different drops that I've made here for you guys. I know I talk about it all the time in my podcast, but look, at the end of the day, I've got zero tolerance for it. And we all have our baggage, and we need to own our own crap. And I'm just give you a word of advice. Give yourself a break, right? Forgive yourself and forgive others, and let it go, because it's not going to serve you. And I don't want to get off on a tangent here and talk about quitting, but I can tell you straight away, it's hard for you to even imagine the thought of not knowing what you want out of your life. And in fact, let's flip that on its ear. A few months ago, I had the privilege of talking to a bunch of CEOs and department heads about inspiring and motivating people. And I'm not going to get into that today, but the underlying message to that was, you can't mentor and inspire people without being present, without being intentional, and understand that people can't follow what they can't see. And just like you can never achieve your dream if you don't define and set goals for yourself. And the ramifications of not setting goals, it can be devastating for you. Think about it. How are you ever going to achieve any success or financial independence without it? It's impossible. You can't. You're going to be like a boat floating without a rudder, right? You need to have these goals and dreams. And I read something the other day that was just shocking to me, that in a recent study that less than 23% of the population, so only 1 in 4 people, set goals. I can't imagine that. Personally, 1 in 4 people set goals, and which to me, what do you aspire to do with your life? It's, that to me is a crying shame. And I'll tell you, if you don't set a target for yourself, in my opinion, you're not reaching your full potential. If you don't have goals, you're never going to achieve your dreams. And I'm not playing. I really mean that if you don't set goals, you have zero chance of achieving your dreams. And some people might say, Peter, their goal is to be successful. Hey, Peter, and I hear it all the time. Hey, Peter, I just want to be successful. Peter, I just want to be rich. Understand, those aren't goals. Those are what I would call wishes. And wishes don't come true without goals. Okay? You must be specific. Know exactly what it is that you want out of life, and learn and commit yourself to giving whatever it takes to get there. Right? Write it down. Tape it to your bathroom mirror. I mean, for me, I remember when just write down 4 or 5 things, whatever those goals are. Write them down. Put it on your bathroom mirror so you see it in the morning. Put it on your refrigerator. I don't care, but it's got to be something that you see every day as a reminder, so it's something that you can chase, that you can see it, and I want you to envision it in your head, all right? That you're going to give it whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes to succeed is something that you're going to do. You're not going to quit. It's not an option. And understand, at the same time that you're thinking about it, there's hundreds of thousands of people out there, if not millions of people, that are thinking the exact same thing you are. So you need to think right now, how are you going to do it? How committed are you to achieving your dream? How are you going to separate yourself from the herd? And then that's an important point. How are you going to stand out in a light of excellence? How are you going to come out as be perceived as an overachiever, right? And that's kind of the mindset. You got to have the confidence. You got to have the catch me if you can group or mindset that, look, it doesn't matter who you're with or who's surrounding you. You got to put yourself in a place that, you know what, you're better than everyone else. You're a harder worker. You show up on time. You stay late, and you give whatever it takes to whatever the job requires. Why? Because you've set goals, and there's nothing stopping you between your goals and your dreams. All right. It breaks my heart when I consult people, and I have to tell them that they're not going to achieve the success that they're looking for without some sort of a major change, and that change requires movement. And that breaks my heart, because people think that just that they're going to end up successful without putting in the work, and many of them, they come back to that point I made earlier. Hey, Peter, I just want to be successful. I just want to be rich. Look, you got to define your dream, and if you don't define where that is, you're going to drift through life with no direction. It's going to be better. You're not going to have any direction, and you're going to wake up one day and you're going to wonder, why are you in the middle of nowhere? That you're feeling like you've just achieved nothing and you're spinning your wheels. And that is an underlying message that I hear a lot from the people that I communicate with, that they just feel lost, they feel stuck. And I ask them, where do you see yourself in the next 4 or 5 years? Okay, what does it look like today? Where are you today? It's a blank canvas. What do you see 3 years from now? And what I'm fishing for is, what are your dreams? What are you looking? What do you aspire to be? Where do you want to be in your job? If it's possessions that you're looking for, what are those possessions that you want to have? And how do you think you're going to get there? Because it's not just going to fall in your lap. Okay, so, and then I talk to them about the willingness to give up everything to chase that dream, because that's exactly what it's going to take. And here's another truth, that most people say they set goals, but they never take action towards those goals. And so that's important. They get overwhelmed, and that's okay. Understand, when you're setting goals and you're trying to be an overachiever, some days you're going to wake up and you're going to feel overwhelmed. That's okay. The reason you feel overwhelmed is probably because you set some high goals, and that's a good thing. Okay? I often say, if you set the bar at your ankles, anyone can be an all-star, right? So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to set high goals. And that's why it's critical that when you set a goal, that dream, that goal, that dream, it should be almost impossible for you to obtain, right? And I love that. Out there, but then you break it down into chunks, okay? Break it down into small action steps that you can take that can be measured. I spoke a week ago just about the importance of setting daily, weekly, monthly, annual goals. It's critical that you see progress and that you see movement. It's critical. You need to feel momentum, okay? Because momentum is what's going to spark that fire in you. Momentum is what's going to bring out that lion in you, all right? You've got to feel like what you're doing is paying off. Once you get going, you won't be able to stop, I promise you. And you will achieve your goal, and you can move on to the next goal. So that's another thing to think about. When you set your lofty goals, you're going to reach those goals, and make sure that when you're reaching, always set the bar a little bit higher for the next time. Okay? Once again, you look at myself. I've had unbelievable success, and every day I'm setting goals. I have a mindset right now of, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be a year, 2 years, 3 years from now? What does my life look like 30 years from now? I think about those things. Another thing that I want you to think about is your why, and that's going to matter as you're setting your goals, and you're wondering, is it all for material things? Of course not. Okay, and I promise you, if you obtain some level of success in your life, the material things are going to go away. All right, because you've been there and done it, and it's going to be goals that are going to be bigger than you ever dreamed of. Goals of helping others and inspiring others. Okay. I remember back in 2005, I was at IHRSA, which is one of the largest fitness trade shows in the country. And I was speaking with, at the time, the founder of Cybex, and his name was John Aguilera. And I was with two of my very dear friends, John Marcotte and Scott Seacrest. And John Aguilera asked me, Peter, so, at the time I had about 200 clubs. And he says, Peter, what are your goals? What would you like to do? And I looked him in the eye and I said, look, I would like to open a new club every day, which is 365 stores a year, right? And I looked at him. You know what? If he could have laughed without offending me, he probably would have. But I didn't blink when I said it. I mean, that's my goal. My goal was to open a store every day. I had 200 stores open in the first 3 years that I had started the brand, and 3 years later, I opened 377 stores in 1 year, and I felt great. And they remember the conversation. In fact, John and Scott are still very dear friends of mine, and we talk about that moment at Ursa when I made that claim and then actually executed on it. So, my friends, when I talk to you about dreaming and dreaming big, it can happen. I'm living proof of it today. I have over 6,000 locations spread across 3 brands in 28 countries. I went from an idea that I designed, out of my home, just penciling it out. I went from that to building one of the largest wellness brands in the world. So it's pretty amazing when that kind of thing happens. In wrapping up today, I want to ask all of you for a favor, and hopefully you're finding my post educational, interesting, and inspiring. All of my stories, all of the experiences that I share with you, they're true stories, and they help define the man that I am today, and both the good with the bad. You know what? I believe that we're all flawed, and God made us that way. But you have my word that I'm always going to give it to you straight. I apologize in advance if sometime I sprinkle in a little profanity, but I promise you it comes from a place of love and passion. So I get excited. Sometimes it's hard to keep the cowboy out of me. But regardless, as I said, I'm going to give it to you straight. The pain that I talk about in my stories, they're real. The excitement that I feel in my stories, that you feel in my stories, it's real. There's nothing that brings me more fulfillment and joy, and when I hear that I've had a positive impact on somebody's journey or somebody's relationship or significant other. That brings me so much joy, and that's really what keeps me coming back to this place, and why I decided to make myself more public was to really help others through that entrepreneurial journey. And look, I know that the road to financial independence, it's a rough road, and I know that there's road rash along the way, and at times it's unforgiving. The emotional stress and sacrifice that one has to give in order to be successful, it can be daunting at times. I get it, right? So I'm living proof that the American dream is alive and well. And although I charge corporate America for any consulting that I do and any public speaking that I do, any of the proceeds that I collect from corporate America, they don't make it out to me personally. I have them make it out to my foundation, the Peter Taunton Warrior Foundation, and I donate 100% of that to charity. So I'm not here today talking to you because I want your money. What I want is your support. My dream is to help people along that path to financial freedom. I want to help people that might be having a tough time in their relationship as a result of the sacrifices and discipline that it takes to be successful within a business, and sometimes that can bring stress onto a relationship. So I can share my stories with that. I certainly have enough of them to share, but here's where you guys come in. Help on sharing my stories. What I'd like you to do is, anytime that you see one of my posts, I'd like you to share it and ask them to tag me. So I'm trying to build my following organically. Look, I'm not a social media expert. I don't profess to be. I'm new at this. But I know this, that a lot of what I'm saying is resonating. And as I said before, it's rewarding, and I appreciate everyone's feedback. So if you don't mind, a couple of things. Number one, if you like what you hear, forward it and tag me so I can. As I said before, I feel blessed, and life is short. It's not a dress rehearsal, and anything that I can do to help you better, to help you win, I want to be part of that. So everybody, Godspeed to all of you. God bless, and have a blessed day. Ciao.